We're live now?
Yes.
Did you hear that collective scream of all the Rumble watchers and YouTube watchers? All of a sudden, my face comes on there. Yeah! That dude resembles Bubba. Bubba's grandpa. All right. We're back. All right. Here comes the opening.
This hour of the Autry Show is sponsored by Sinlaw, the most realistic artificial grass in the Central Valley.
From NFL quarterback to Hollywood to the mayor's office, and now behind the mic at KXEX, this is the Autry Show. No retreat.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
What the hell's going on out here? Everybody grabbing out there. Nobody.
That the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
I'm not fearing any man. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord.
So, 5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes! Unbelievable.
Free at last! Free at last! Thank God Almighty! We are free!
You're listening to the Autry Show on the best talk in town. Talk Radio 1550 KXEX.
And welcome to the Autry Show, No Retreat. I'm old Autry with Guillermo Marino. And man, it's been a while since we've been back on the air live here on Rumble, YouTube, and we'll be tape delay as they get, or video delay on Facebook later on today. Welcome, Guillermo.
Hey, it's good to be back, Alan.
Have you missed me? This is truth on the table. I toyed with making that the name of the show rather than Alan
Truth
Officer.
on-
Truth on the table. Did you really miss me?
I've missed you like I've missed
That bad rash you had back in April.
Nah. You're a joy to be around. You really are. You're uplifting, and I really missed you.
Well, I missed you too.
Yeah.
You were out helping the family move.
Yeah. I was everywhere.
You went from where to Michigan to Baltimore?
Michigan to Baltimore. Then I spent time in Philly, New York.
And you got to see the Liberty Bell.
I got to see the Liberty Bell.
I want to see that. It's on my bucket list. And I'll tell you, I better get after it pretty quick. My bucket, not too much time left in that bucket.
No, I think we're going to lose Liberty before you lose your bucket list.
Man, I went to bed at 45 and woke up at 71. That's what it feels like. All these things you're going to do, then you sit around going, damn, I'm not going to be able to do 100 of the things I still want to do.
You still have a
I'm
lot.
going to run out of time. You
still have a lot of stuff on your list?
Oh, my gosh.
But you keep adding to your list.
Well, not really.
No?
I've wanted to see the Liberty Bell.
Yeah.
And I had plenty of chances to do that. Didn't do it. I wanted to go, try to get tickets to see you love tennis.
I love to. Oh man,
I'd like to see Wimbledon.
Oh, I love. Yeah.
But then I start making this list, and I think about my dad, who worked the fields out here in the San Joaquin Valley, third grade education, topped out at $2.75 an hour. Wow. Never talked about his bucket list. He was too busy trying to support us, put food on the table, roof over his head. But he would when he had a few pops. You could get out of him what he wanted. He said he'd love to have a Cadillac and go to Africa.
Wow.
That's the only two things I heard my dad, and he had to be drunk to say it, because he just never wanted to say, I wish I was someplace else, or I wish I could be doing this. He was out working the fields, driving a tractor for wages, choking on dust. But that generation was just, they were just different breed, man.
They don't make them like that anymore.
Yeah, they just really don't. I guess each generation does get softer than the previous one.
Oh,
don't they?
They're like Pillsbury Doughboys right now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's.
Well, those ones that the greatest generation, World War II, were raised by like World War I.
Yeah.
And parents from the 1800s.
Yeah.
Don't you know they probably went around going, those their kids are spoiled. They have to. I don't get to ride in a buggy to school. I had to walk to school through 5 miles of snow, and And, we ain't had milk or fresh meat unless we had my cow to milk.
Well, I mean, technology has advanced. So, I mean, if you think about it, if technology, who knows where we'd be by now?
It has spoiled the crap out of us.
How do you think?
It really does. I think that's the biggest threat to this country is being spoiled. I think we all feel like we're entitled.
Yeah.
There's certain levels of that, the ridiculous of entitlement, and I see it all the time. But I have to look, going, has that crept into my thinking? That you feel like, oh, you got to work for that, and then you slam yourself, going, well, yes, you need to work for that.
Yeah.
It's easy to get sucked into the giveaways, and I think that's going to play into the election. You see how I segued into that?
Oh, that's beautiful.
With the debate coming up, so let's start with that. I want to hear.
Okay. All right.
How do you see this debate? 2 questions. Number one, how important do you think it is going to be to the eventual winner? I mean, because it's a very tight race. We just saw one of the first polls, a Fox poll, that had Biden now creeping ahead in a couple of points ahead of Trump. Trump is still ahead in the battleground states by 2 or 3 points, still within the margin of error. In a lot of those states. But how important do you think this debate is? And then who do you think has the advantage going in, number 2?
Okay.
And then number 3, who do you think, prognosticate a little bit, who do you think comes out a winner?
All right, so how important it is.
I hope you remember those 3 because I'll forget them by the time it comes back to me.
It is the most important presidential debate, I think, in the history of the United States, because this is probably going to be the only debate we're going to get out of these 2. I think long gone are the days where you have 2 presidential debates, right? Closer to the election time, and then you have 1 vice presidential debate. Joe Biden is not going to agree to do a second debate. He's just not going to do it. Just like the first time around. How many debates did these guys do? They only did 1. So that alone just heightens the importance of it. So that's number 1. This debate's going to be the only one. It's going to be the most important debate. Now, if you want to start talking about the polls, and you had just said, hey, Donald Trump's, it's kind of neck and neck. Now you got Joe Biden pulling ahead. I thought Donald Trump was ahead in the battleground states. But it's pivotal for Donald Trump because I think everybody wants to know, which Donald Trump are we going to get? Has the man matured? Where is his mental state? Because we've had to see him pretty much shut up during the court trials. I mean, we've seen him in a different light. I mean, he's still doing his rallies. He's still kind of ad-libbing the rallies. But the question is he going to seem presidential and not being president anymore? So I think people are kind of curious. They're willing to give the guy a second look. They're willing to see, okay, which Donald Trump shows. I mean, if Donald Trump shows up and he is just, I mean, when Joe Biden calls him a convicted felon like 30 times, when Joe Biden calls him, every name in the book and how he's a criminal, he's a crook, how is Donald Trump is he going to be fazed or is he going to be irritated? So it's going to be important because I think people are going to want to know, okay, if I'm going to vote for Trump, I want to be validified and validated that I'm making the right decision.
Well, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Do the rules that have been imposed on this, will the rules allow that to happen?
No. I mean, Donald Trump is going.
Well, I mean, is it really even a debate if you're going to cut the other guy's mic and it's just this person talking, then that person talking, and you can't have the interaction? Yeah. Is it really a debate or 2 separate interviews that you're having?
Yeah, it's a one. It's a one side. But this is boxing.
Well, no, but in what you're saying, are you going to be able to tell that from Trump? See, I think what man meant for evil, God meant for good.
Yeah,
I think the fact that you're going to mute the mics could probably help Trump. Because in that election, that one debate where he lost, he was talking over. He had COVID.
Good point.
During the time.
Good point.
But he was constantly interrupting, talking over Biden. We talked about it on the show after.
Yeah,
I'm going,
I remember that.
My gosh, just shut up, Donald. Yeah. Let the man hang himself. You're just so maybe enforced to do that. So I don't know if like the rules. They say you can't have notes. But let me ask you.
That's going to hurt Biden.
But let me ask you. Do you really think when you have a CNN debate, so-called debate, with Jake Tapper and this Dana Bash, and you're telling me, now Call me conspiracy theorist. You mean to tell me you don't think those questions are going to mysteriously find their way to Joe Biden's camp prior to the debate? They said nobody's going to know the questions. Nobody's going to know. Come on. I mean, if you believe that, I've got some riverfront property in Parlier I'd like to sell you. Okay, right? Come on. I mean, because that doesn't make sense. Let's not have notes on a guy who has to have notes on where to sit.
Yeah.
And you're clearly on his side, CNN, Jake, and you have two people that hate Trump. Just look at the clips. You don't have real journalists interviewing. So, well, let me ask you this. What could go wrong for Trump? I agree with what you just said. The referendum's going to be out. Donald, have you matured?
Yeah.
Can you, because on the campaign, now he's showing a side of him that's more reserved, less triggered. Mm-hmm. And when he's triggered, what comes back, it comes back in humor. Some even self-deprecating humor. What?
Yeah.
Trump actually self-deprecation is actually, you say them in the same sentence? So do you think in a total, the totality of it, the kind of hybrid debate that they're putting forth, no notes, no rebuttal, you can't go one-on-one with the guy, who does that benefit in your mind? Trump? Or in order to find out those things about Trump? I mean, because if they say, like you just said, Biden calls him a convicted felon 15 times.
Yeah.
Then Dana Bash goes, well, Mr. Trump, how about, the inhumane treatment of immigrants with your immigration policy? And he can't respond to being called a felon by a guy who's under fire by Congress on a Hunter Biden laptop with the road leading to him. Maybe the key. Do you think that's could be the case? That he could be prevented from even responding in a way that
I don't think so. So listen, we do production here. We have mics here. Logistically, I don't even know how this is going to work, because let's just say Donald Trump and Joe Biden, how close are they going to be from each other? Mics are pretty darn good, but if you were to mute my mic right now, producer, mute my mic right now. Dog face pony soldier.
Then you
hear that?
Then he lose. Yeah, but you lose because you're showing that the guy has been triggered.
Yeah,
and he's going to talk even knowing. And will he adopt that? Because there's going to be people in his camp go, "Hey, Donald, they think they're brilliant. Or they mute you. Go ahead and talk, because the people will hear you." And it's the same type of people that were in Schwarzenegger's ear.
Yeah.
Going, hey, when they talk to you and they get at you and they have a good point, call them girly men. That actually happened. Rob Stutzman told him, I'm saying to Arnold, do not say that. Do not bring up you're going to terminate. Don't bring any reference to your acting
Why
career.
not?
Because people want to see a governor who used to act, not an actor trying to be governor. And you've got to draw. I had to do that here. I never referred to the Bubba character when I ran for mayor. I didn't. It was about, we had too many tough issues for me to get cutesy and try to get some political points and somehow conflate my acting career with the office of mayor, and in a way that was like, dig that character. Remember when Bubba said this and that episode and this and that, how it applies to sewer connection fees that we want to raise? No.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
I don't like this at all. I remember the way I felt going into the first debate last time, and I remember how I felt afterwards, knowing that Donald Trump lost the first debate. I mean, I think we all saw it. Now he's going into, it's like a boxing match. And, before two fighters get into the ring, especially the high-profile ones like Canelo Alvarez, Floyd Money Mayweather, whatever. You know the guy I'm talking about. What did I say? Floyd Money Mayweather. The guy, you know the guy. Anyhow, so the thing. It's all scripted down to the weight. You can't be overweight. You got to stick to this diet. You got to do this, and I have a clause where I have a rematch. So it's almost as if they're scripting this like a boxing match. Donald Trump's gonna debate not only Joe Biden, he's gonna have to debate Dana Bash and Jake Tapper, and he's also gonna have to debate the production crew, essentially, because they're the ones that are muting the mics. So in a way, I don't know why Donald Trump agreed to it other than the fact that, and I think he and all the conservatives are banking on the fact that there's going to be a moment in this debate where we're going to talk about for a very long time. And if there's not that moment, I think Donald Trump loses. I mean, you look at you look at Kennedy and Nixon. Remember, I mean, he just looks so poised. I mean, we've had these debate moments. You had George W. Looking at his watch. I think conservatives are wanting that moment, so that way we can say, look, America, he just can't do it. I mean, I think the best moment for Donald Trump would be if Joe Biden just froze up, and they had Mr. President. Mr. President, you're at. If he doesn't have anything like that, I think Joe Biden wins. And I think Dan Bongino was talking about this today, and that's what they talk. I mean, and that was the thing when he showed up for the first presidential debate in 2020. He was. I mean, the guy was there. He was breathing. He was answering questions. I think he called Donald Trump a clown. I mean, he was there. I don't want to get expectations like the first time around where conservatives are like, oh, it's a slam dunk. Joe Biden can't even walk. He can't even stand up. The guy can't even, he's going to trip. He doesn't know where to go.
They're really overplaying that.
They are really overplaying it. Joe Biden will show up. He's going to be able to get through it. And if he doesn't stumble, which I don't think he will, I think we lose.
I think it's 50-50 that he makes it through. Probably 40-60 that he doesn't make it through without something that grabs your attention and goes, wow, it's not about age. It's about, your vitality and your ability and what's going on in your mind. You put Bernie Sanders up there, no problem. You put Clint Eastwood, 93, still directing.
Yeah.
You put Trump, 78, up there, but he's just not well. I think everybody sees that. And I think 90 minutes up on your feet at night, had no notes, even them trying to protect him by having no back and forth.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a tall mountain for Biden to be able to climb. And I think there was no other way to get around it. And I think the reason that I'll tell you why I think CNN wanted this debate under these rules and when they wanted it, which was very, very early. We've never had a debate this early, even before the conventions.
Yeah.
Ever. And I think there's a reason for that. And does that music mean we're going to break?
I think
Let's go to a break. We'll be right back.
Just mute his mic.
To the Alan Autry Show on the best talk in
I
town.
paid for this.
Talk Radio 1550 KXEX.
Remember that moment, Reagan?
Yeah.
You just hope for
He
Trump.
was so mad.
Mr. Moderator, I paid for this microphone. People loved him. I mean, it was so simple. I wish Trump could have a few of those moments. If he learns that less is more,
I hope he does. I hope he's just respectful and just if he's lost, I would just say no. You know what, Dana? I'd like to give the president more of my time. I didn't quite get that.
yeah.
What are you going to do? you got to say, hey, look.
If what you have too, one advantage. We're
Yeah.
back? Yeah, let's come back.
You're listening to the Alan Autry Show on the best talk in town. Talk Radio 1550 KXEX.
And welcome back to Alan Autry Show with Guillermo Moreno. We're going to have some really exciting news about what we're doing here, our collaboration, our team with Guillermo and Philip Villanueva here and myself, and that'll be coming out in the future, but we're all excited about it. Talking about the upcoming debate, if you want to call it that.
The one-sided brawl?
Yeah, but I think if Trump is smart, and maybe that's why he accepted so quickly. If he's smart and understands the people, that's his advantage that he has. He understands the average American, which people find odd. He's a New York billionaire. How can he really understand the plumber from Peoria, Illinois?
Yeah.
But he seems to have because he's a developer, he's a builder. In New York, he was famous for being out there on the site with the workers. He loved that. He and his kids loved being out. They weren't in the ivory tower all the time, waiting for the bottom line report, say when's it going to be done. He was down there getting to know the people. It's always been his MO. He was rich guy, loves the spotlight, loves the finer things in life, but he also has an interest in connecting with the common man.
What would you tell him, though? What would you if you could?
I would tell him,
have 1 minute with the guy and say, "Look, you got to listen to me. This is what you got to do."
I would say they have handed you the best opportunity to put this election away, and it's going to require you to understand the format and take advantage of that format. Because what we're witnessing, the public is witnessing, that's why you can have all of these indictments and still be where you are in the polls. People get it. You understand that? But they know your record. They've lived it. Those 4 years pre-COVID, it's like Camelot compared to the 4 years after that Biden presided over. Now, you can say, whose fault? I inherited this and that and all that. People don't care. You're in the saddle. You're leading the cattle drive during that time. You get the benefit and the accolades for things that go right, and you get the blame for things that go wrong. Ask Lyndon Johnson if he was here. He didn't start the Vietnam War, but guess who got blamed for it totally? He had a chance, a choice to do it right, the right thing, and he picked the wrong thing, prolong the war, even though he inherited it. By every measure, from black unemployment, Hispanic unemployment, historical lows, the border was secure, the world wasn't on fire, you didn't have the threat of nuclear war breaking up everywhere, you didn't have radical Islam invading Israel. In fact, you had the Abraham Accords. You had Arab countries meeting with Israel. Well, you have the winning hand. Don't do as Angelo Dundee told Sugar Ray Leonard in the corner with Thomas Hearns. Hey, you're blowing it, kid. Because he was fighting Hearns' fight. Don't fight Hearns' fight. You're better than him. You've got the record. You're faster than him. You're more powerful than Hearns, even though he's bigger than you. Start fighting your fight.
Yeah.
And he went in and knocked him out. So by that I mean, with this format you've been given, you've accepted it. It's just tailor-made for you to have one or two lines to address what he's going to come at you. You know he's going to come at you with the convicted felon. Yeah. Right? You know he's going to come at you for the inhumane treatment at the border that's why he was sent indefensible. But he's going to try to play the character card on you, okay? You can predict almost with certainty what he's going to come at you. Then have very succinct answers to it, laced with some humor. But don't go after his age. Don't do that stuff because that's going to turn people off. It's already starting to turn people off.
Yeah.
I mean, Biden's up 9 points with independents. Most of those are elderly people. Because you know what? When you talk about a guy just being old and frail, you're insulting a lot of old people. They say, well, that's me. I get confused sometimes, they say.
Yeah.
Lay off of that, Sean Hannity. Lay off of that. Fox is all over that like starving dogs in the meat house. People are tired about Biden being made fun of. Crapping his pants and his oatmeal and his sippy bottle and all that stuff. They don't want to hear that anymore. It's starting to backfire. They need to leave that back. Focus on his failed policies.
Yeah, exactly.
My God.
Yeah.
It's like a buffet there. It's like a buffet of misery. It's a buffet that nobody could win. And even if you had charisma, like a Gavin Newsom, a John F. Kennedy, or whatever, you might have tons of you might have charisma dripping out of your pores, but you got that record. If you play your cards right, you're up against that. You have to be smart. Joe Biden has none of that charisma and is saddled down and weighted down by this horrendous record. Open border, people getting raped and killed. The latest one, Robin Moran in Maryland, by these people that come up we don't know. You've got wars breaking out all over the world. You still got inflation up high. You still got cities that crime out of control.
Yeah.
And interest rates crazy. Young people can't even get into their first home. You've got him at every. Don't get sucked in and just dismiss it. He says, well,
that's what you got to do.
Yes.
That's what you got to do.
He comes at you saying you hate the border. Just things like, well, Joe, and be perfect, Joe, that's wrong. That's a lie. I know it. You know it. The people know it. So let's talk about this.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. And then the question, they'll come back at you. Well, you'll see Tapper and Bash get flustered, I guarantee you. Well, you didn't answer the Mr. Biden's question. Yeah. Well, yes, I did. I may not have answered it the way you wanted it, but I answered it, and it was my time. I want to say, do you want me to say some more? There's nothing more to say. He's got a failed policy. Why didn't he give Ukraine the weapons that they need? I mean, you go down the line.
Yeah.
Be composed. Don't get teed off. Be expected to be called everything from Jack the Ripper to Hitler. and don't take the bait. And you'll have the weight because he's not going to be able to interrupt you because you do have another guy. Now, they talk about Trump's trigger. Well, there's only one other politician that has more of a hair trigger than Trump. That's Biden.
Yeah.
He'll snap at reporters at the one little thing. Well, could you tell us a little bit about what's going on, in Israel when he's over there in Ukraine? That's when the pony-faced dog soldier comes out. Well, we can't stick. Remember when he said, "Can you just stick to the script?"
Yeah.
Basically, which let the cat out of the bag.
Yeah.
So
I like what you said. If he needs to look at it like a football game, time of possession, right? You need to let Biden have time of possession. That man should be talking more than anything else. And you're right. He's got to go on the offense and not on the defense. He's got to. Whoever's prepping Donald Trump, I hope they have him with these one-liners. What are you going to say when they call you convicted felon? Who else has been a convicted felon that has been who's been thrown in jail? Nelson Mandela, Martin Luther King.
Very good. Well, under the same premise as Trump.
Yeah.
That you're an enemy of democracy. That's what they called Nelson Mandela.
Yeah. And that's what he needs.
Martin Luther King.
Yeah, he needs to do that. He needs to learn how to pivot. I don't think Donald Trump knows how to pivot.
Well, that's why I'm hoping there's people around him that will bring in guys like J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance would say, give him something like this. It would be better than this, but give him when he says that the economy's good. The economy's the greatest economy we ever had. That's what Biden is saying. And to come to Trump, and after he gets through saying that best economy, Bidenomics we ever had, he said, you can say that big fireball up in the sky at noon is the moon and not the sun, but people know that it's not. It's the sun.
Yeah.
So, what do you want me to say, Joe? You want me to fight you on this thing? That it's just simple. We know that the country's going to hell. Everybody can see it. They can feel it. They live with it every day. On the grocery on the dinner table, when they're filling up the gas tank, when they can't buy a home, when they can't pay rent, they see it, Joe.
Yeah.
Okay? And then pivot to the next one. Dismiss them. Because there's really no argument, and the people know. Not in a way that says we don't want to go to your record. You know that's wrong. Now let me tell you what we did. We're going to cut taxes. That immediately puts more power in the pocket of the people. We're going to go ahead. We're going to secure the border. We're going to make sure that the interest rates come down that the economy cools off, but does truly have a soft landing. They just reinstitute the policies. First thing we're going to do is stay in Mexico policy, and just say, and by the way, and so I like to give my time to Joe. You say you secured the border. Why did you say there's nothing you could do? Then you proceeded to do exactly what I did.
Yeah.
Except institute the stay in Mexico policy. You could do that tomorrow. Why don't you do that? Joe will stumble. He has no notes. He hasn't been. He will not be able to answer that. You can't defend the indefensible. Now, if you're Gavin Newsom and you've got the hair and this and that, like we saw him on the handy debate, you can. He tries to. People are catching on to him here in California.
Oh, yeah.
You can say we really want to. It's really best for this state that we raise income taxes, sales tax, and property tax. That you don't have a penny left in your bank account, but that's going to be good for you. And you'd have over half the people in California going, okay, let's give them everything. Well, where are you going to eat? I don't know, but I'm going with Gavin. Yeah, well, because I'm a liberal and I've been a liberal. Go blue. Go blue. And I point out, I said, look, you're starving to death. You're starving to death. And somebody comes to you and says, well, I really care about you. I care about you. I think about you. You're in my thoughts, my prayers. You're just a good person, and I just really care. And the guy goes, you got to get up and get to work. Here's a sandwich, and I'm gonna here's a sandwich. And I'm gonna bring you a Coke, and I'm gonna bring you a sandwich tomorrow. Are you gonna take that sandwich from that dude that just told you need to get up and try to go to work? You probably didn't like what you heard. Yes. Because that's what you're seeing today. You're seeing these far left policies.
Yeah.
Why are you sticking with them when they're destroying your life? And I'm not even going to call them Democratic policies. There's woke left. The Democrats, they came in and embraced it, and you're starting to see the move away from them. But look at the damage that it's caused to now. I mean, you can go through the laundry list, and if he's got a chance, I think. What do you think about him going to all of these blue states and going into the bluest of blue cities, into the poorest neighborhoods and doing a rally?
I think it's fantastic. I mean, that's you go to where you're not liked and not wanted. I mean, he also went to the Libertarian Convention a couple of weeks ago. So I think it's good. It's a good strategy. I hope he continues that, but I hope that strategy continues on the debate stage. He's getting coached really well. Whoever's prepping him, I hope he listens to them and makes sure that he can knock it out of the park. But I want to go back to what you said before the first break, which was the reason why they're having this debate so early, because they want to be able to essentially take Joe Biden out and swap him with someone. So I think most conservatives know who is the easiest Democrat to beat right now. It's Joe Biden. So I think we kind of want Joe Biden to be the candidate because he is the most beatable guy.
I was going to ask you, who do you think secretly would want a Joe Biden 20-second stare into space? The Republican Party or people like James Carville and actually the Democratic leadership, if you really, really got inside their heads, that are looking for an excuse to swap Joe out.
Yeah.
I could say, look, we love him, but we got to do this. America, you saw it.
Yeah.
Kamala, and it's be Kamala Harris coming in.
I've said this. I think I said this on day one of his presidency. They're not switching him out.
Well, here's the thing, though. I think they're misreading the people on the left. Folks on the left, it's 50-50. I mean, it's a tight race, right?
Oh, yeah.
And the people that are still with Biden know full well that they're voting for Kamala Harris, and it's still hot. It's still tight. They know that. They know that he's not going to make it through a second term, maybe not even the first year of his second term, and Kamala's going to take over. So you're seeing the referendum, and it's not a blowout. She's more, at least, not even as popular as Joe. But that's been figured into the equation, and you're seeing that. And people got to understand that. There is a campaign right now to make Kamala look more presidential, and that she's the one that the left needs to rally around. Now, yeah, she hasn't been here, been there. They believe, because of Trump is who he is, that they've got Kamala in there, and they get her in there as the candidate with enough time that they could rally around her and win this election.
Yeah.
Because I think one of the first things she would do would be get Gavin Newsom to come and be the running mate. He would probably do it. And then you have a ticket that if you're looking for people that can tell the yarns and tell them, I don't want to say the L word, lie their rears off to get whatever they need. They're both very good at what they do, which is spin things and get loose with the truth.
Yeah.
And they're very, Kamala, I don't know if they call her charismatic, but I think she's been beaten up so much that you could get the left to rally around her. I think you could get actually some of the mainstream Democrats back with that, because it's like, hey, she's like this vessel we can still shape. She's not as, here in California, she fought crime. She was at one time, had a reputation as tough on crime, which she did. We can bring her back to some of those. She has a history of having those centrist roots that they could really promote and just redo her. I think that's their thinking. Is they would, guess they know.
I think they're riding with Joe all the way.
Can Joe ride all the way? My point.
Oh yeah,
I don't think with if an event happens like you're saying, I'm saying he falls down. He does the stare. He does a bunch of the words that you can't understand. Not just once. If he has he has a tough night cognitively.
Yeah.
I think they swap him.
I don't think they're not swapping him. I think the Democrat Party right now, I think they have a bigger problem if they try to swap him, because who do you swap him with?
Kamala Harris. I just gave it out. Kamala Harris.
I don't think it's that. Yeah, Hillary. Yeah. I don't think it's that cut and dry. I think, unfortunately, they've gone so far down the road with Joe. Joe's not going to go. They're going to ride with him all the way. He's not going to fall. He's not going to stumble on Thursday night. He's going to get through it, and he's going to be the guy.
I think it's 50-50.
Nah, he's going to get through it.
The whole thing is different. It's 90 minutes on your feet, no notes. It's later at night. I don't like listen, I'm 71. I just got through on a shoot on 911 Lone Star. Don't miss it. No, I'm doing 4 shows on that thing. I can't tell you the ending. I'm in a lot of the show. I mean, a lot of screen time for the old man here. Can't tell you the ending. It's shocking, though. Tune it in. It's shocking. But I was out there for 13 hours up in the hills, and at 71, I still get around. But I flash forward to 81, and the man has had a brain aneurysm before. I mean, you talk to these doctors, and they're looking at him, and they're going, this ain't good. They just had the White House issued, what was the last thing, a proclamation for Worldwide Elder Abuse Awareness Day. Well, are you aware that your president, you can't send him out all over the world from Normandy, then back to the United States to go do some rally? He can't do it. And it's like I look at Jill going, you can just see it. You see him trying to talk now. And I'm not making fun. I'm just being purely analytical, folks. I believe they've played this hand. It goes against my nature to make fun of anybody getting old and that sort of thing. You don't make fun of that. And I respect Sean Hannity and Fox News. I'm going to look right here and tell you, you guys have really overplayed that hand. Mm-hmm. And shame on you, a lot of those that took the cue from Sean. I love Sean. I think he's a very smart guy, but he overplayed this. It's wrong. Trump even told him it was wrong. He says, don't make fun. And you know what Trump's done? If you saw him at a rally, and I got to call it out. You're out there making fun of Donald, Mr. President, making fun, just like Hannity and Fox, of Joe Biden's cognitive, stumbling into walls and all this stuff. The very thing you said, and you were right when you told Hannity this, people liked you for that. And you think maybe that little, because you're doing rallies all over, and this is what CNN's showing, MSNBC's showing, maybe, just maybe, could that be why you're starting to lose ground with independents again? Most of that 9-point lead made up of elderly people? Don't do things stupid like that. Why do you want to? Because when you do just make fun of old age, you make fun of a demographic, because they may not have anything to do relatable to Joe Biden except that age. And they said, you know what, I get that old timer. I don't agree with his open borders, this and that, but that's gone too far. He's stumbling around, and that's not good. You have kids taking care of their grandparents, or parents that see that. Just lay off of that. What do you think about it? I'm just sick of it.
Yeah,
you made the point. People get it. They can see it with their own eyes.
Yeah.
Quit making fun. Would you go down to the local nursing home, walk in there, and go, "Hey, look at that! He's going to have his sippy cup." Oh, I bet you crapped your pants.
Yeah,
today.
yeah.
Oh boy, come on.
And that's when you know Donald Trump's going to have a bad night if he gets to the age. It's no. But I'm telling you guys.
Well, you know what? I'm getting sick. Let me get this out, because I'm venting now. All of you, my farther right brethren, because I'm a conservative guy, who wrote me off because I won't make fun of Joe Biden crapping his pants, I don't give a rat's behind it. You don't support me. I don't care if you watch another show I'm in or not. Don't watch it. Don't watch it. I don't want you watching it. I don't want your insensitive, stupid eyes watching what I do. Would you be making fun of your grandpa? Walking around not knowing where he's going, stumbling into things. You laugh at that? You make fun of that? You tell your friends, hey, come over. Let's watch my grandpa who took me fishing or this and that. Let's go watch him get old and before our eyes and laugh at him. Would you do that? Well, why in the hell would you do it to somebody else's grandpa over politics? There's enough there to take Joe Biden on policies. I do not like one single one of his policies except lowering drug costs. And I'll give him credit for that. And me giving him credit for that is enough for a lot of you so-called clear-thinking conservatives who do the right thing to write me off. Well, you know what? I'm a little bit of a loner in life. If I go out telling the truth to you all, I think you better start listening to this. Because this country needs its heart back, its soul back. Much more than it needs this hardcore right-left politics back. Because we're losing our freaking soul by doing stuff and betraying principles we would never do. We were always taught respect your elders whether you agree with them or not. And I can disagree with Joe Biden on every single thing and have in my heart a lot of anger towards him. But see him struggling on stage, I would go up and help him off.
Yeah.
Because it's the right thing to do. And go ahead. Say because I'm going to go out.
That would be a great moment.
I might spontaneously combust here.
That would be a great moment if Donald Trump...
Or crap my pants. Maybe I should just crap my pants to just show you guys.
If Donald Trump...
How much...
If Donald Trump has humility and is kind to him, like, someone with an elderly person, he would score so many points.
Oh, my gosh.
But he's not going to fumble. I'm telling you, Joe Biden's going to show up. He's going to show up as Joe Biden. He's not going to have this huge moment. He's not going to trip. They're not going to have cords everywhere. I mean, this guy, they're going to shoot him up with stuff. And they're going to shoot him up with stuff. If I were advising Joe Biden, he's getting plenty of rest. He has 0 on his presidential schedule this week. He's going to show up. He's going to look fresh. I mean, he's going to do that little pep jog on the stage. I think conservatives are going to be like, this isn't the guy. Like, I think we're getting played.
No, it'll be jacked up Joe again.
It's good, and
yeah.
And you're going to have CNN helping the guy, just like Chris Wallace helped him the first time. You think he's going to be up there for what, 90 minutes, an hour and a half?
Think about that.
No, but he's not going to be talking.
I was on the set on my feet for several hours, just on a movie set.
Yeah, but it's a night. Look, they're going to take at least 1 to 2 commercials.
And I work out every day.
Yeah,
Joe.
Allegedly, Joe does too.
What's that?
Allegedly, he does too.
Well, I know.
Behind the scenes, this guy's pumping iron. He looks way better behind the scenes, according to all the reports.
I just think
he's so smart. He's just.
If I were them, if I were on the left, if I was saying I'd push to have this thing at like 8:30 in the morning. Seriously.
No, guys, I'm telling you,
in the morning.
Don't fall for it. He's gonna show up. CNN's gonna go.
And I'm not making fun of him. I'm just saying, just purely analytical.
Yeah, they're gonna gang up on Trump. They're gonna try to get Trump to talk most of the time. I think the way it's being formatted right now, if Donald Trump doesn't go in there with a strategy to let Joe Biden talk, I think we're doomed. It's not good.
I'll go back to what you said. If he keeps talking after they clip his mic, somebody gets to him and says, here's a good strategy to show you your disdain for CNN, your fake news network. When they try to cut you off, you speak there because they'll hear you, Mr. President. What a moment that would be. Yeah, it'll be a moment, all right. It'll be a moment you look back on why you lost the election.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Now, let Joe get triggered and do that.
How would you trigger Joe? How would you trigger Joe? There's one way to trigger him.
Oh, how to trigger Joe?
Yeah.
Just ask him a question he didn't want to answer.
Yeah.
They're going to have.
You bring up Hunter. I love my son. He loses it. You hit him at that.
You still think that laptop? You're on record here. If you go back to the archives on this show, folks, this man to my right here said that laptop's a nothing burger.
I did.
There's nothing on there. People aren't going to care. It's going to.
I did. Yeah. I want to know.
Oh gosh, yes. I said it's huge.
Yeah.
What do you mean? 51. How about you haven't heard an apology from 51 security experts?
Yeah.
There's high-ranking people in the security department, military, said this is Russian disinformation. I mean, and yet you don't hear them coming out, and the courts just accepted it as authentic, and the FBI knew that. Oh, anyway, we only got a couple of minutes left. Change this up. So okay, prediction.
I think it's a one-sided fight. I think Joe Biden's going to do better than we think, and I don't think Donald Trump's going to be able to contain himself for 90 minutes.
Okay, so you're predicting trouble for Trump.
I'm predicting.
That's the only way you can
afterwards.
correct me because I can decipher what you just said.
And that's not the outcome that I want.
No, I'm asking you what you feel is going to happen.
Dead tie.
Huh?
Dead tie. Both guys are going to walk off pretty scathed. Both of them.
So who comes out better on that? Do you think polls stay the same?
CNN. CNN comes out because everyone's watching. I think it's.
You know what? It needs to be just like a soap opera. No, there's no audience. How do you have a debate with no audience? That's not a debate.
Well, and
you can't go back and forth. It's not a debate.
And you know why, right? Because there's no one in there to be able to show the real view of what's going on with Joe. I mean, it's all by design. And Donald Trump loves a crowd. He loves to work off of it. Remember when he was debating Hillary Clinton?
But sometimes, yeah.
I mean, he needs that audience.
Yeah, but you know what I've noticed? Have you noticed when he goes one-on-one with some folks, he gets very intimate. You see a side of him you don't see. It's more quiet.
Yeah.
He does. He was very. You're seeing a side of him. Maybe it could work to his advantage. I don't know. I just got an uneasy feeling that I'm taking the politics out of it, just from a human standpoint. I think it's going to be a tough haul for Biden, even though they retreated to go back to Camp David and all this. Sometimes you can over-prepare. He's going to have all this information. Sometimes it conflates and goes in.
Yeah.
You know, when you call the Prime Minister of Canada, the Italian president or whatever, it can backfire on you. You hit too much information in there, and you listen to too many people. I think there's a danger of that. So anyway, folks, thank you for tuning in. When you hear Roy and Dale singing, that means our show is about ready to go off until next time. So God bless you, Guillermo.
Thank you. Thanks for having me back.
We'll be on tomorrow, Tuesday.
Yeah.
Tape delay. What do you call a tape in this video? Just do the best. Best, they got to do the rest.